Yeah, hung out in the quasi wilderness. Weird, not paying attention to streaming, Red Note or whatever. Oh, I fully have uninstalled and deleted TikTok. We're on to Red Note. Let's be real about it. You know, there's more reasons why we don't want to mess with TikTok having to do with Israel. Israel is completely retraining. Sorry, retraining the algorithm, facts and news reporting about the genocidal, occupational, apartheid Israeli government, a country that absolutely should not exist. And no, when I say that, that has nothing to do with the people who live there. I say, yes, absolutely, Israel should be destroyed. I literally am talking about the country, which is not a person. Countries are not people. Countries don't have rights. Countries do not have rights to exist. People have rights to exist. And the people whose rights to exist have been trampled upon since their land was stolen in 1948 are the Palestinian people, not West Bank invaders from Bushwick that come over and say, literally, if I don't steal your land, someone else will.
You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it.
No, no one.
They have the right to live in a free Palestine, a free, independent, unbowed, unbroken Palestine if the Palestinian government allows them to live there. And I don't even mean that in an ethno-state way. I can't just pick up and go to Canada here in the U.S., can I? I have to follow immigration rules set by the state of Canada. But listening to on my drive up to the camp, I was listening to a lot of IRA, music. This will make sense. I'll tie this all together. Really, not even, I would say, just a lot of wolf tones. Pretty much because over the weekend, in great news, one of the members of Irish rap group Kneecap, the British government had to give up the ghost, and they said on a technicality they're dropping terrorism charges against Mokara, but that's not why. We all know why. It's because the whole world has turned against Israel, rightfully so. The UK government, the government who gave away stolen land in 1948 to Bushwick settlers, just doesn't want to be seen as a puppet of Israel. They'll leave that to us, the United States, where our government is fully controlled, lock, stock, and barrel, by the government of is not real. Without a doubt, 100%. And this is not because they are some magical people that were talked about in the end times or in the Christian Bible or something foolish like that. That's not why at all. It's money, silly. We give money to Israel to have an unsinkable aircraft carrier in the Middle East. Israel spends that money to take care of its citizens while we suffer and starve. They get things like universal health care and subsidized education, higher education. Well, we get a boo-boo Band-Aid and a swift kick in the ass from our government. And then they take that money that we gave them to subsidize their existence to turn around and buy off all of our thought leaders, all of our politicians, until there is no more United States government. It's the United States of Israel. I want to be very, very clear. When I say flippantly, with only a small bit of jest, that we are the United States of Israel. This is not, I say that those words are very, 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 very deliberate and very selective. We are not the United States of Jews or the United States of Judaism. We are the United States of the government of Israel. Jews are good and cool. Being Jewish. Being Jewish is cool. Everything about it is cool. Israel, the government, the ethno-state and genocidal state of Israel is not good and not cool and must be destroyed. It's really that simple, but it's not that simple. Poor people who have grown up there, or the poor people who have bought into the lie that Israel is the only safe place for Jews around the world, which obviously is not the truth. Like, any Israeli in Israel who thinks that, like, this is the safest place for Jews, yes, anti-Semitism is real. Like, people for very, very, very bad reasons still don't like the Jewish people. But again, to my Bushwick example, there's no bomb shelters in Bushwick. There's no incoming rocket fire in Miami Beach. You see what I'm saying? So obviously, before we even get into geopolitics and why these things are the way they are, there's Israel objectively is the most dangerous place for Jews. Therefore, if I was a Jew living in Israel, many reasons I'd be getting out. That's one of many. And before we even get to the moralistic reasons of why I'd be looking for the exit, I'd be already gone. But as I sit here and I say that so easily, is that really the truth? Because here I am, living in the Nazi state of America. You know, fascism isn't on the rise. Fascism is not creeping. It's here. We have opened literal death camps where people get black holed and they might die. Who knows? And how they die, we don't know. Our president, El Presidente, has given the green light on using deadly force against peaceful protesters by the United States Army all across the country, and we just sit here and we act like it's not happening. But it definitely is happening. And let me tell you something else. Let me be a bummer. We can see, you should be optimistic in how the world is falling apart. And what I mean by that is, it's not falling apart quietly. This isn't the quiet takeover of fascism that they wanted. The world has woken up to Israel. The world has woken up to the United States, how we are no longer making ish shake all across the world. How we're the number one manufacturer of misery and death throughout the world. And it's been that way since 1776. The only way to fix this place would be to go back in time, sink the Nina, Pinta, the Santa Maria, and sink the Mayflower. Hey, why is the world waking up to this in such a way? And it's not that complicated. The world's waking up to this because what the United States government is, we're a mafia boss. We say, hey, that's a nice country you got over there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. You either let us rape the country of natural resources. You let us completely take over your country to where you're just a client state. You're a country and you have sovereignty in name only from us. You let us do what we want when we want to your country. But we can assure you no other country will mess with you because you'll have our protection. We'll protect you against the big bads like scary Soviet Union. We'll protect you from the big bad of China. Won't have to worry about that. But as you can see, the United States has not kept up with our end of the bargain at all. So the United States hasn't kept up its end of the bargain, right? Even just in our lifetime. Like, let's look at Ukraine, right? We told Ukraine, look, don't join NATO because that will incite Russia. Give up your nukes. You don't need nukes. We'll protect you. And Russia said, oh, I love this. We're going to march right into Ukraine. And the United States isn't going to do anything because we've got the bomb. And Russia was right. That's the way it goes. Keep your nukes. We don't mess with you. So Ukraine is sitting here going, well, what? Like, we did everything you asked us to do, and now you're not going to put boots on the ground to try and protect us at all? Oh, okay. Well, fine. Like, forget you. Like, the whole idea of this protection racket is the protection. And if you're not offering the protection, all that's left is the racket. Look at Qatar. Qatar's the same way. The United States said, look, let us mess your whole country over. We're going to put military bases. We're going to put not only military bases. We can do that anywhere, right? We're going to put United States Central Command Middle East to where if a pigeon takes a poop and it comes from the skies in the Middle East, we'll know where it landed, right? Nothing moves in that region without Central Command knowing about it at all. And we just said, you know what? Israel said, we're going to attack Qatar, and we don't care what you say, America. And they did. And we played oopsie-doopsie that we don't know about it. So only two things. Either we let that happen because Israel's our Tommy D. Simone, keeping with the mafia boss analogy. Israel's our very own Tommy D. Simone, crazy attack dog. So either we knew it happened and we allowed it to happen, or we didn't know that it was going to happen. And what is the point of Central Command Middle East being in Qatar? Why have that then? Because that's the whole thing it's supposed to protect against. So they're like, look, man, we did everything you told us to do, plus let you mess our country over with military bases, and this is how you choose to do us. Like, you just let this happen with no repercussion. What is the point? What is the point of this protection racket with no protection? So countries are aligning against us, and I love it. I think it's great. I think if America is not going to completely fall apart, then we at least need to, what happens to us what happened to the British Empire is we sunset and we just go away. That would be such a benefit and a boon for the world. Things in the interim, when a tiger is old and cornered and dying, that's when they fight the hardest to hold on. So in the interim, it's going to get so much worse. It's, fight or flight time. But you cannot freeze, or you will get run over by the fascism train. And a lot of people are realizing that. And a lot of people are realizing that. A lot of people are seeing that in my own life. I'm seeing people fight desperately to ignore it because they already know. They know what time it is, but they're ignoring it. I'm seeing it's in the way that people can't sit in a what used to be a comfortable silence because everybody's thinking it. Everybody knows it. It's like don't look up. So they fill their silence with doom scrolling, but they can't escape it there. They fill their silence with small talk, but the small talk eventually turns back onto the material situation. So, I don't know what to do with these feelings. I have no idea. Right now, I used to be in the flight camp because I don't have a lot of faith in us as Americans to fight. But then I am seeing people who I wouldn't have normally seen been in the fight camp surprise me lately. So it makes me go back and forth, and I think I'm in some kind of split the baby to where it's like have a plan for flight, have a loose plan of multiple loose plans for flight. But then also be in the fight. And it's kind of too late for me anyway, unless I'm going to flee right now. Like, look, I was a cop. My DNA is already in like the system. As a Marine Corps vet. I mean, the next people they're going to go after, obviously, especially after last weekend, they're going to go after vets. They're going to go after our organizations like About Face, for sure. Here I am, public profile online. I'm all over online. What is there to hide? But I don't know what fight means yet. And it's easy to say like, oh, be in the fight, but y'all, even myself, y'all aren't ready for that. You don't understand. Like, there's a line in the Lost Prophets, the guys who were like beatnik rappers back in the day, and they said, don't even speak of revolution until you're ready to eat rats to survive. I am personally not ready for that. I can say that without it. I can start to change my life to be ready for that. But I think a lot of people, and I don't want to scare anybody, but I just want people to understand like the reality of the situation. Like, a lot of people there's two sides that I'm kind of upset at. Like, not upset at, I just, the side of the people who just like ignore it, like don't look up. And they're not making any kind of plan. Like, I understand there's a lot of people who cannot stay here, and they need to be trying to make their way to the exits. And I think my kind of thing right now is to help those people who cannot stay here make their way to the exits. I mean, trans people, queer people, disabled people. If I have to start driving people around, as a new underground railroad to get them to Mexico or Canada, I for sure will do that. But I don't think the people who are ignoring it don't understand what they're up against. And the people who are talking real greasy, they don't understand what they're saying. When they're saying they have to fight back, I don't think they understand what they're talking about. And it's stuff that I cannot talk about here on twitch.tv or YouTube, without a doubt. And you have to figure out like what your place is in all this, and what skills ascertain. If you're gonna flee, you need to figure out what skills and what community that you have that is going to get you where you need to go, and what skills that you're going to use to survive once you get there. And if you're planning to stay, then you need to also be like, okay, what is my role in all this? I'm not saying if you are a barista at Starbucks, then you need to be out here thinking about how you're going to lead a protracted people's war in the hills. I'm saying, like, if you have a government job right now, maybe it's time to keep your government job so you can pass along information to people so they can fight or flight. I'm saying a good example of this is like the French Maquis. I think that's what a real American resistance movement would look like, is the French Maquis, to where instead of everybody all of a sudden saying, I'm joining the French Maquis, they understood that they had a part to play that made society run. So the idea was to keep society running, all the while sabotaging the Vichy government and sabotaging the Nazi Party. But make no mistake, that's where we're at. Don't kid yourself. This ain't this ain't going back to normal. I don't care if Trump, something happens to him. I don't care if the Democrats win the midterms. I don't care if the Democrats win the next win the next presidential election. This is not until the wheels fall apart. completely. And we don't want to know what that looks like. But until the wheels fall apart on us as a semi-first world nation, we don't, things are not going to get better. We have a long way to go before we can even think about that. And I think about stuff like, okay, so the Nazi Party, right? Nazi Party, you know, not the Vichy government, that's France, but the Weimar government handed the keys over to the German Republic, over to the Nazi Party, with very little pushback. Then Nazism took over. People were killed, people were blamed, people were camped, mass murder, the whole deal. The majority of German society shrugged its head, shrugged its shoulders, and said, "What's that got to do with me?" Which is what people are doing here. They're laughing and they're joking through the apocalypse. And I'm not saying you need to be doom and gloom all the time, but to sit here and like not be making connections of how you're going to, again, fight or flight is not serving you. Not serving you at all. It's not serving you. It's not serving your family. It's not serving the country. The German people, even at the end, when Berlin was falling, they didn't care who was in charge. All they wanted was to go back to the status quo. They wanted trains to run on time, right? That honestly, that is the main, I want to say, problem. And it's not like the fascist American government is listening to me. I'm sure they are, but it's not going to take my advice, because one of the great things, and I say this in gallows humor and cynicism, one of the great things about this new fascist beast that we're up against, it's that it has a master, and it's not even fascism, it's capitalism. The American government could get away with mass death, murder all around the world, exploiting other countries, killing, jailing, torturing its own citizens. It could deal with, the American people would accept their neighbors getting picked up and put into death camps by ICE. We would accept a genocide, a United States funded genocide in Palestine. So I just have to say the words U.S. funded, but it's our genocide. It's us. Israel's an extension of us. They're doing it. We're doing it, right? But American people could accept all that. I'm telling you they could. But the fatal flaw is, because of capitalism, if the American people had a chicken in every pot, a two-car garage, an affordable place to stay, to live, a job that they knew they didn't have to have 4 different jobs to run together to try to make ends meet, we could accept all that. We've done it before. It's called the 70s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. The world really isn't any more dangerous, or America's not any more dangerous. We're actually more dangerous in the past and killed more people in the past. It's just that American standard of life was so much better. We just like German citizens, we just wanted the trains to run on time. But because of capitalism won't allow that. It won't allow you to be comfortable. Being unemployed has to be an implied threat that if you don't settle for less, then you'll get none. If you don't put 4 jobs together, then you won't be able to pay the bills. There has to be an implied threat there, because the line must go up. Shareholder value must go up. And that is the fatal flaw, is that these fascists don't even worship power. They worship capitalism. And that's what's got people so... You know what? Great example. That's what has got people so upset and so angry, is that they can't understand, well, my government does all this evil. Then what do I get? What do I get? I pay my taxes. I follow the rules. I don't make a fuss. I don't make a muss. I don't protest my government. I just go, well, it's always something. But I live here in America, so I should get what?